It says you have to rotate it.
What?
Yeah, it says you have to rotate it.
We did it this way last time.
Wait, no, it worked. It says you're live. I think. Yeah, you're live. Okay, you're good.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Karen Stern and I work for Heart Niagara. And I've got the opportunity today to share a presentation with you. You'll notice I have a clipboard because I actually cannot take credit for all that you're going to learn today. If this was a team that put this project together, Gigi Mann, who is one of our students, was not able to deliver today, so I'm here as her representative. And of course, our whole team from the Niagara College program actually have been presenting all the way through. So I'm subbing in for Gigi. Ali Kerr is one of our staff who's not here today either, but probably out there in Facebook world. She's the one that made it happen, so her input is here. And of course, Diana from our staff always makes sure that we're up and live. So we'll get through this today, and you'll see a little bit. I'm a bit curious why they decided that I should do the brain health one. Do you think it's because I'm the oldest representative of our team? I don't know. So today we're going to talk about the brain and the impact nutrition and exercise has on your brain, and really a little bit about dementia, and then of course the leading disease under dementia, which is Alzheimer's. So the thing I thought was pretty interesting was our brain is about 3 pounds, which I didn't know, 100,000 miles of blood vessels in that 3 pounds. It contains more connections than the Milky Way. However, I thought this was interesting. It is our fattest organ. Now, I don't really know what that means, but I wondered if that's where fathead come from when we were all younger, so I don't know. I think the biggest part of this is we never think about our brain, and right now all of us can be suffering at some level, and it really doesn't always have to do with age. So I think that's the first myth buster, is this is not just an older person's disease. All of us can use brain health all the time. An interesting thing is 31% of us fear dementia more than we fear cancer or death. And I bet you all of us know at least one other person who has avoided finding out about it or feels that when they're not having a great day that maybe it's an indication. And all of these things around dementia are not, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's included in that: chronic headaches, depression, epilepsy, moodiness, and not all moodiness, but some of it. And of course, brain fog. I mean, how many times have we all thought we've had brain fog, and why? Well, one of the things we can be doing, it could be one of the culprits, is what we're eating and how much activity we've got on a regular basis. So that's really what we're here to look at today, about what we can each do. And let me just tell you that knowledge is power. So each of us has a responsibility, I think, and an opportunity to share what we learn about good brain health with other people, because I think that that's one of the things that we don't talk about. We all talk about our blood pressure, we talk about our cholesterol, we talk about our cardiovascular disease, we talk about our joints, but we don't really talk about our brain or the health that it needs or what we need to do to take care of it. And we never seem to make that connection between, we talk about brain food, this is brain food, but we don't actually realize that that nutrition will make the difference in your brain health. So each of us are the champions. The interesting piece is that this can be supported by many physician groups, and I don't know if any of you have heard of Neil Barnard. He's a physician. He promotes a plant-based diet, and I'm not saying that's the way to go, but he talks all the time about why we're not making that connection about how nutrition and activity can support brain health and reduce our risk of future diseases around our brain. So Alzheimer's, I mean, the root cause of it is really unknown. There's things between lifestyle and around how the disease progresses, but there's not as much known about Alzheimer's as we know. But it also gets confused because we talk about dementia, but dementia is actually the overarching piece of all those brain diseases. And it is disease. We have to think about that. So with Alzheimer's, you know in the beginning, if you've had a family member, a loved one that's been through this, it's trickle effect at first. It does impact some of their lifestyle. They do a few quirky things. People often find a way to mask it in the beginning because they know so much about what they're not doing. It's when later in the disease process when you actually don't even know you don't know. But it's a terrifying disease for sure. Like I said, dementia is all sorts of those things. and it impacts our daily ability to do things. So that can happen earlier or later in your life. Dementia is not part of getting older. So I think that's the piece that we have to think about, is the fact that dementia happens, and it doesn't happen to everybody. We have all met somebody who's nearly 100 who's as sharp as a tack. So I think that genetics play a role, but lifestyle absolutely plays a role also, and those people that are more physically active make a difference. So let's look at how our brain can age as gracefully as we're going to. I mean, I think the good news is that we can reduce our risk factors, and there are risk factors, through good diet or healthy choice and exercise. So I say exercise all through this, by the way, but usually I say activity, since in my world exercise is still a swear word. So what do we know? So statistically, we know that people talk about their cholesterol, they talk about their blood pressure, and most people understand that this is a buildup of plaque in your arteries, in this formation which will reduce the blood flow. So I have a friend, and many of you may know him, Dr. Don Chu. He's a neurologist, and he used to get really frustrated with me because he'd say, Karen, I don't care how much you do to fix the heart, if the brain isn't working, it isn't really going to matter how healthy that heart is if the brain is not there. And we all know, so Don has been trying me to quit saying cardiovascular disease and say vascular disease for 25 years. So Don will be happy. Today we're really talking about vascular disease. All of the things that happen in cardiovascular disease are the very same. We need to increase our good nutrition in our life. We are trying to clean out that plaque, and that continues to happen through our life through daily activity, living smoke-free, and eating healthy, and consuming those healthy foods that we know. Because the thing is, cholesterol is really an inflammation. So what are the things we should do? Obviously, we know we also need to have higher vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And I think that people talk about all this every day, but remember that even if you have a predisposition to disease, you can help yourself by continuing. People need not give up. Every day is the day you should start with activity and healthy eating. And the good news is if you're doing this for your brain, there'll be some other chronic diseases that you actually will impact at the same time, so you will get healthier. Antioxidants, of course, the easy one is always adding berries to everything you eat, which is a good thing to do. So the brighter the fruit, the higher the antioxidant. So the other ones are vegetables, and of course, so the cruciferous vegetables for sure do lots to help you with cancer, but they also help you with all other forms of disease, because what you're trying to do is reduce any plaque. The brighter the vegetable, again, the higher the antioxidant is it. Those whole foods also make a difference, but you work together with all of the foods. So the interesting thing about your brain is, although none of us really talk about brain health, that really is the first organ that we take care of, and then our heart, because if we can think to eat well, our heart will be better, our muscles will be better, our joints will be better. So all of those things can work, but we need to keep that brain healthy. So this is a huge slide that's got way too much information on it and hard to read, but it was really a prompt for me in the beginning to remember what to do. Excuse me. So it really was easy ways to add fruit. So again, I'm always a person who wants to talk about what's cost effective, and certainly in this day and age, cost is going to be a big piece. Look to find frozen fruit and berries when they're on sale. Frozen berries do just as well for you, so make sure you have them in the freezer. Then you can just take a cup out every morning. You don't have to worry about it being not shelf stable, but if you can get into a habit of eating that, half a cup of berries or berries of some kind each day, will make the difference. The other thing is when we're out, and I don't know about anybody else, but this weekend I was shopping, and there was at least 3 times when I was shopping that I was hungry this weekend, and let me tell you, a bag of chips can call me from 2 blocks away. So winners, I kept walking by, but if you have something in your purse, some nuts or seeds or something, just to remind you that yes, you still need nutrition, but figuring out a way to get some of that good omegas at the same time, it's also good for you. It's also good for your joint health, and it's also good for your pocketbook. So thinking about those things. And then, of course, there's all this information out there about spices and herbs. Turmeric seems to be the thing that's getting most of the attention. So it's an anti-inflammatory. It doesn't have a lot of taste, which is another thing. It will change the color of your recipes, but there's, I think they have a golden milk you can have, which is turmeric with your nut milk or anything in it. But as we age, turmeric for sure is really essential. You can get it in a capsule also, but the evidence is overwhelming out there around turmeric. If you want to try it raw, knock yourself out, but I did not suggest it first because it's a little more work, and you have to be, I think to add it into your food, it's a lot more, whereas just have that capsule, make sure you've got it. It is an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant, so even for those of us that face some arthritis, that inflammation will be down a bit. So it's got lots of benefits for sure. One of the things I always say to people too is if you're trying to get more fiber in your diet, I don't know if people know this, but the red lentils, you can add that to any soup and it actually will thicken your stock. So you're reducing any gluten because you're using lentils. It thickens your stock easily. You're increasing your protein because, of course, I think that people forget that each of us needs 60 to 80 grams of protein a day. Lentils can help you get there. It also is a fiber. It does all the things for you, lentils. That's a good idea. Vitamins. So they talk about folate, which can be found in beans, lentils, walnuts, asparagus, spinach, and orange juice. I don't know if that makes a salad or not. I'm sure that somewhere in the world somebody's making it. They just threw some couscous in there too, and then you've got all your folate for the day. B6 for sure we need. Again, walnuts continue to come up, so it's an interesting thing about walnuts because you always hear about almonds or cashew milk or a few other things. Walnuts doesn't really get the same kind of credit as some of the other nuts, but walnuts are very good for you. But again, in that B6 with the avocados also, you're trying to get those omega vitamins into you. Bananas, of course, they also give you that potassium, so there's a lot it will double. B12 is the only thing that you will have to get a supplement in after the age of 35. It is pretty hard to find B12 in any food product, and it's really tough. So just bypass all the aggravation and take the B12. Physical activity to prevent dementia. So I think that when you look at solutions around, first of all, you've got your healthy eating. So now you feel well enough to do things because we still need food as power. I mean, you have to have that food to have the energy to move forward. Also, brain food comes right back to it. I mean, sometimes we have that foggy brain, and often it's way too much sugar in our day, not enough water, Diana, and those things that make us make not as good of decisions as we could have. However, if we can get that into our regular system of going for that walk, spending the time with someone else, one of the things we know is we are not really good at investing in ourselves, but we will definitely invest in our friends and our family and our pets. So find someone to walk with and make sure you take water. And then talk about recipes. Find some solutions that work because those will also help to improve your memory and thinking, just doing all those things together and paying attention. And it will reduce dementia and it will reduce the speed of those hardening of the arteries, which is really what is happening. Is the arteries are hardening through that plaque with dementia. Okay, so I went way over the top on this slide. So we're starting a new program at Heart Niagara called Body Pump. So we've been doing some great things with group classes, and we found that people really like functional movement and they like stretch classes. So Body Pump is another style of activity that Diana is spearheading, and she's going to be starting this in the new year. The classes are a bit more entertaining, they say. I don't know if it's because of the music or just the interaction of people, but there's a couple of ways to do that. So we're going to combine some of the weight training or weight management training we do here, plus some aerobic exercise. So it should be exciting, and it's going to be called Body Pump. So really, all of this slide tells you is exactly what, for the people that come to Heart Niagara already and come to Hardcore, they already know. That we want to increase our muscle mass, that's what we want. We want to reinforce our strength, we've got to always improve our posture, reinforce our joints, and prevent some back pain when we can, and just toning our body. So we don't make any promises at Heart Niagara or at Hardcore that, you know, if you were looking for a weight management program, we may not be your solution, but if you want to get stronger and you want to stand straighter, we're for you. And I think Body Pump will be delivering all of those things in a group format, which will also reinforce your twice-a-week training. So you can reduce your dementia, or your possibility of dementia, I should say, by 30%. And Alzheimer's can be reduced by 45% with daily physical activity and nutrition. It will make the difference, there's no doubt about it. So we continue to work forward and strengthen our relationships with people so that we can do that. So what's aerobic exercise? So it reduces cognitive impairment. So regular aerobic exercise is 150 minutes a week. I didn't make that number up. Probably if I was having the number, I would have said 50 minutes. But 150 minutes a week is what we really need. The thing I think people don't get is that you don't have to rush into it. I mean, your best walk is around 18 to 22 minutes. You will meet your optimal. You are trying to get your heart rate up there. So, I mean, if you're trying to build huge muscle mass, maybe you go hard and fast and for longer periods of time. However, I think what is smarter, and smarter throughout your life, but certainly after 35, since we do have some people, oh well, there's a couple people under 35 here, for sure. What you're trying to do is move into your activity. Don't rush it. Enjoy every part of it, and also your cool down. So finally, doctors and researchers are starting to think more broadly about this. I mean, before it always was just a pill was a solution. And I'm not saying medication is critical. If you are on medication, I cannot enforce to people enough, do not go off your medication because you feel better. You need to work with your health practitioner and your clinician if you want to change your medications, because they are there for a reason. And if you feel good, I mean, when we had our cardiac rehab days, I cannot tell you the amount of people that said, oh, my blood pressure is managed now, so I went off my blood pressure medication. They never made the connection that that medication was what was bringing their blood pressure down. And actually, blood pressure medication is one of the most probably serious things that people quit taking, because sometimes they don't really like how they feel. And you need to stay on your medication and work with your physician or your health clinician to make sure what you're doing. However, it's finally that doctors and nurse practitioners are looking at alternate solutions also. So the combination of your physical activity, the combination of your nutrition, your vitamins for sure, which is now I think many physicians and health clinics ask you right away what other supplements or what other vitamins you're taking. 10 years ago, they wouldn't even have asked that. They would not have seen the correlation between the two, but it makes a difference to do all that together. So it's good that this disease, we're starting to fight it collectively as a group. So when you're looking at stimulating activities, so for those of us that still need to chill out sometimes with a game of Candy Crush, apparently this endorses it. Because what you're trying to do is keep your brain working. There is good online games now to build words and to change puzzles, to do those things. These are all activities that have been great and will continue to be great. And so when your kids are making fun of you because you're still playing a game online, I still play cards online also, it really can help. It makes a difference playing word games. That's why you need to, continue to think about all those things. It will slow your memory loss, and it improves those daily tasks, because it's still like anything, you're trying to keep your fine motor skills, which is the other reason that sometimes when you're doing things on your laptop or your iPad, it makes a difference. So what keep doing? Reading and writing. How many people take the time still to write someone a card? Drop it in the mailman. All right. So the reading and writing is still critical. It's interesting how it's changed. People aren't reading books like hardcover books anymore. They can read on their iPads or their readers, which is great, but continue to read and write. These are skills that are being lost in another generation, but they're also skills that keep your brain active. And learning something new, that is something for me that I go out of the way to try to figure out all the time. I have, bless you, I have lots of useless information now on things that I'm trying to learn. Haven't mastered many, but I'm getting there, working away on things. And of course, for anybody who knows me knows that I'm so happy that socializing has continued to be a way to stay healthy, because I am a pretty social person and I enjoy spending time with people. So I am really happy that connectivity, and I think that for all of us, we need to remember the last 18, 19 months have been like no other time in our history. We have been so isolated from each other, from physical touch, just that emotional connectivity of people in a room. All of that socialization has been impacted, whether it is walking into a grocery store and feeling nervous. So we need to be able to figure out how do we move together, improving our own brain health, and just feeling better about all of us. So all of that has impacted each one of us this last 18 months. So we've got a ways to go to get back to improve our brain health. However, the good news is we did walk more. We did get active. Lots of people started riding bikes. They got closer to the people they were close to, and you really connected with people who you walked with and some other pieces. So there's been, some of the things are bittersweet, but really when you're looking at your brain health, socialization is really important, and being together, even if it's a little bit apart, is essential. And again, playing games. So it can be charades, it can be whatever. We can still do things together that are socially distanced, which will help our brain health. So remember, this is from Thomas Edison, the chief function of your body is to carry your brain around. So if you don't take care of your brain and you don't take care of your body, they need each other, but really we have to have our brain and we need to take care of both of them. So how can you get started? So really living with some intention in your life is really, I think most of us have started to think about what we really want and why we're doing the things we do. So thinking about living with intention. So calm the storm in your own brain. And I probably wrote this one first because I'm the person who needs to read that more often. Figuring out the breathing exercises, because breathing is essential. It will calm you. It gets the oxygen to your brain. You need all those things. Really check out Cindy Van Dyke's blogs and her YouTube series, because they're only a few minutes. So I'm not asking you to spend a half an hour, but if you can start doing some of these breathing exercises, you will see a world of difference. One, in calming your own storm, whether it's 2:30 in the morning and you've just decided that you better write the recipe out for something that you're going to have Christmas Day, or a card you didn't send. This will help you relax more. And affirm how great you are. I mean, obviously, if you're in the room, if you're watching this on Facebook, or whatever intention you have, you know your wealth to yourself and you know how great you are. So you are investing in yourself. But remember that and thank yourself for being how great you are. Everybody moves at their own pace. So don't ever shy away from, I don't walk as fast as someone else. I only work out 2 days a week. They work out 7. Don't look at it that way. Look at your own greatness and celebrate it every day. And check out Diana's YouTube videos on stretching, because that's another way that you can affirm again how well you're doing and increase your activity level at your speed. But I know that Diana's also are really good. When you're setting those intentions, you commit to your goals, whether it's written down, and if you write it down 3 or 4 times, that doesn't mean you have to be right the first time. And success is about moving through all the stages. You can get exercise journals here or fitness journals here, activity and nutrition pieces. There's lots you can talk to Diana about if you want other resources. The other thing is about just being with nature. So that walk in the morning or the afternoon, or at Fireman's Park or at Oaks Park, there's oxygen to your brain, but you're also paying some tribute to your soul at the same time. All of these things are connected, so it's not just about the nutrition, it's just not about the activity, but it's about your whole being and your connectivity with the world, and that is really important. And my best suggestion always for activity, and I think a number of you have this, is you have the buddy system. It works. Because the day you don't want to go because it's raining, or the day you don't feel like you want to talk to anybody, you'll go because of accountability. One of the reasons hardcore is so successful for people is often they're not interested in showing up, but they don't want to disappoint Diana or their coach. So the accountability piece, whatever your buddy system is, and whether it's the dog you walk in the morning, or your friend that you meet up with, or your husband or your wife or your significant other, find someone who you can share some time with, because they'll help you reach your goals. And then pay attention to the intentions you've made for this year. So when we're coming up to New Year's, lots of us at the beginning of the year have some ideas of what we want to see happen in the next year. Include in those intentions that you're going to pay more attention to your brain and your health. And just, it doesn't have to be big. Significant change is long-term change. It is not a huge thing in a month, but it's a significant change that could be one small step that gets you closer to your goals all year. And it'll help you to be stronger. So again, I can't say anything more than to invest in your soul, in your brain, and in your body. So that's a little bit about brain health and what we do at Heart Niagara. I don't know if there's any questions.
We'll wait for our online audience to give them a chance to type it out, but as some of you know, always to the audience here in real life, any questions, you guys? Anything? No? There will be a pop quiz later today.
One of the questions I had based on the title when they gave it to me was today is that I was thinking I was supposed to be preparing more recipes and solutions, and I didn't know if that's what people were looking for, and I think we can do more of that online if people are looking for some menus or how to manage some recipes that you incorporate more foods that are higher in vitamins and nutrition. I think that we're all going to be facing some financial challenges in the next year, so looking at recipes that are accomplished on a budget is another piece.
Thank you, Karen. And Hilly, anyone on the virtual end of the world?
Nope.
Alrighty. I guess we're good to go, unless anyone has a comment, question, concern in the audience here. No? Oh, Helga, yes?
I have to say something.
You go right ahead.
Just because, I came because of wanting to be as healthy as possible at this point in my life, and a lot of the things that were mentioned helped affirm for me the things that I'm doing and focusing on that are important. So it was good for me to get that kind of affirmation.
Yeah, I think there's something that we have to remember and remind ourselves all the time, that whatever we're doing to make those changes, and sometimes when you look in the mirror or you're having a bad day, you're thinking, well, I've done all this for what? But I think you are healthier, and and I think that because the kinds of things we do are significant in small amounts, we're changing every day, and so we don't really notice it. And the one story I have is a lady who was coming here. We didn't really know if hardcore was working for her, and so about a month later, she went to a meeting once a month. And she always, when she got to the door at this particular building, it was really hard to open the door. And the next month when she went to a meeting, she pulled the door open and slammed it right back to the wall. And she said, hey, I'm not good. So for her, that was the first time it resonated, because she didn't think she looked or felt any different. But that day when the door went slamming back, she said, I am stronger. And I think for me, the thing is, what I notice is sometimes when it gets easier to go up that second flight of stairs with that laundry that is never ending. So that's, for me, I can tell when I'm doing better because the laundry becomes easier to carry.
Yes, Helga?
Just one other comment about turmeric. Now, I started taking turmeric in capsule form, and that helped to be reinforced. But also, if you're looking for an easy way to use it, I've gotten into roasting vegetables lately, and I sprinkle the turmeric on it,
Yeah.
on the vegetables.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that it's, like I said, the flavor is not too pungent, so you can manage well, but it will change the color of things for sure.
Anyone else? No? Anyone else online? No?
So thanks everybody for coming in. Please continue to watch our series and support our students from Niagara College, because we're very lucky to have them here, and I was just stepping in today, so thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you.